Right, so I'm going to chuck my 2 cents into the ring in regards to the Jets on 2042 and the state that they're in. By no means am I a big YouTuber. Probably won't get a lot of views on this video. I'm not Silk. I'm not Chemtrails. I'm not Rain Fox. I'm not one of the big pilots in 2042. I just don't fly them. I just have no interest in flying them really. I don't like the way they feel. I don't like the cannon. I don't like the spread on the rocket pods. The movability of the jets in this game just feels absolutely trash, as opposed to what they felt like in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. The spread on the rocket pods is just absolutely atrocious. I know we asked for them for ages for the jets, but they've just given them to us, and I think they've just chucked them in at last minute and thought, yeah, we'll make that work. But the spread on them is just too much, as opposed to what you would get in Battlefield 4. The cannon doesn't line up anywhere near where it should either with the crosshairs. That circle crosshair, I don't understand why they put that in there. For a 30 mil on the jet, I feel like its power against vehicles is absolutely dog water as opposed to what it was in Battlefield 4. That's another thing there. I don't think I absolutely hate the trophy systems. On what planet did they think that that was a good idea, that the rocket pods from a jet were able to be stopped by a trophy system? It literally makes no sense to me. I mean, that didn't happen in Battlefield 4. I don't know why that's been implemented into this game, but you can see the spread on the jets for the pods is just crap, and this whole zoom in thing as well. Spotting in the jet is just crap. You've got to rely on teammates to try and mark people up. It's just nowhere near what it was like in Battlefield 4. I don't think there's any way to fix any of this unless they completely rework the whole jets and do a copy paste from a bit of BF3 and a bit of BF4. But then at the same time, there was nothing wrong with the jets in Battlefield 3, and then they went and changed it in Battlefield 4. They took away the two laser guidance, gave you one, which then led to people running the 25mm cannon plus air-to-air only on the stealth jets, which I find to be still to this day mind-boggling. But at the same time, you've got flares. You don't have any other countermeasures like you did with Battlefield 4. There's no belt feeder. Like I said, where you point and aim with your main cannon is just not the same as it was in Battlefield 4. You knew where your cannon was going to be and how far to lead your shots. And just the maneuverability of the jets in themselves was just 10 times better. And even for an outdated game now, like Battlefield 4, I've gone back, and just the way the jets react and fly, and their braking and their turning is just, there's just no comparison. It's just day and night. This game is basically just Afterburn in a loop cycle, and whose Afterburner can, you know, push them the furthest with the loop spam cycle. There's no braking, there's no speed control in this game whatsoever. I mean, when you're shooting a vehicle, there's no numbers that pop up to tell you how much damage you're doing to that vehicle while you're shooting it, like you have in this clip here for Battlefield 4. You know, you get to your 50-60% damage on your vehicle, and you know your JDAM's going to do the rest of your job. You know how far to lean your shots with your attack jet. Look, the crosshair aim point, that's exactly where your bullets are going to go. There's no spread. You don't have to lead your shot. It's almost as if they got the other attack jet from, let's say, the Warthog or the Russian one, and implemented that into 2042 on the end of it. But the crosshair is just a last minute chuck in, and I think is just absolutely atrocious. And you can see here the difference between the crosshairs for the rocket pods in Battlefield 4 as opposed to what you would get in 2042. Like, the spread on those rocket pods is tight. They go exactly where you want them. You can lead your shot. They will go, if you're flying down on a target and it is moving from left to right, your pods, if you have to adjust your jet, will continue in that direction because they're tight and they're together, as you can see in that clip. They're not spread out. If you want to try and mark up infantry, you go in a third person, you can spot while you're flying and see infantry, and I can't see that in 2042. Maybe it's because I'm on console. I don't know. If it's PC, has some sort of advantage with being able to spot. I know they have the advantage when it comes to turning over us on console. That's for sure. I've tried to dogfight people on PC, and it's just so much more tighter than what it is for a console player. I mean, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, and I know I'm not a noob at flying because I've got, a couple of thousand hours worth of flying under my belt from 4 and 3 battlefields, and 200 serve stars each. But the jets just feel absolutely atrocious in Battlefield 2042, and unless they do a complete rework, well, it's just boring. And the other thing too is the pods in this game, you come from up high in the ceiling and come down on a vehicle with your pods. They all land and do a significant amount of damage, and then you're finishing them off with your 30mm cannon that you have in your jet. You just don't get that with 2042. I feel as though I drop all my pods, and then by the time you go to use your main cannon, the 30mm on the main cannon, I feel just doesn't do as much damage that you want to have it on there. It's almost as if on Battlefield 4 you just don't run 30mm because one, they overheat too quick, and two, they do a lot of damage, but they overheat, so everyone refers back to the 25mm cannons. Obviously you don't have that choice when you're flying an attack jet, but at the same time I just feel that they're underpowered, and just the way they move in general is just absolutely dog water, and so is their crosshairs, and they just need a complete rework. Either that or they need to be removed out of the game, because helicopters have just become so overpowered now that it's just ridiculous. But you can see in the two clips that I've played there, it's just day and night, the differences between the jets and how the time to kill and the damage output between between Battlefield 4, an outdated game, and 2042. It's only a couple of years old. And I think it was more of an even playing field on Battlefield 4, but I mean, if you were a really good pilot in the attack jet, you could keep up and basically dominate a mediocre to above average stealth jet pilot. I've seen it before. I've been at hand to it. I mean, I've dealt it out myself back when I spent my whole life basically on Battlefield 4 flying and doing nothing else but flying. But as I said before, the difference is just day and night with the two jets. Just the damage output, the spread of the bullets, the spread of the rocket pods, speed control. You don't see people flying around in here with their art. Well, you do. You see the amateurs that don't know any better just flying around non-stop with their afterburners on. But at least you can see in here, there's a perfect example there. I don't understand why Old Mate's done that. But you had to somewhat use your afterburners at the correct time, and it was generally afterburn in segments of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then when you got to your 1 o'clock, you'd start tapping your brake every second until you hit back down to your 5:30, and then you'd start afterburning again from 6 o'clock onwards. So it was always afterburn at 6, afterburn at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You'd afterburn all the way to there. Then when you come up to the top to do your loop cycle over, you wouldn't be afterburning at all. You wouldn't be pushing it on and off, and you'd start tap braking at your 1, your 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then just as you're about to hit your 6 o'clock, that's when you'd start your afterburning again till you got up the top. Most people would start afterburning maybe from 9 o'clock onwards, but fair few others like myself would afterburn on and off continuously to maintain our speed control from your 6 o'clock to your 11 or your 12 o'clock until your loop cycle came over the top. That's what would create your tighter turns, and in 2042 that's just not the case at all. There's no speed control whatsoever. It caters to the casuals. There's no speed control. There's no skill ceiling in there at all, like there was in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 with the dogfighting community. That's generally where you would go to sort your problems out if you had beef with somebody. who was another pilot in the game, because you just couldn't do it in a pub match, so you'd settle your differences in a 1v1 friendly. You both would have the same jets, but even then, like, the hit rego on the two different stealth jets is completely different. The one jet's smaller than the other. I think somebody put up a comparison once on the Battlefield or Battlelog page. I'm pretty sure Pictures and Receives sent me a photo of the two jets, and the hitbox on them was vastly different. One was way smaller than the other, and that's why people went for, I think it was, might have been the J20 had a smaller hitbox than the 50.
He's so pissed.
So
He's got to run
or
out
than the
his
F-35,
radar.
or it might have been the other way around, but you can just see, like, in this gameplay, like, the jets are just day and night, and then 2042, and that's just why I don't fly in 2042. I just don't feel like I want to invest as much time into flying as I did in Battlefield 4, because I just don't have that hunger like I did before, because it's just trash.